It's time for us to go through the dailies.
Absolutely.
And you have the daily graphic.
And I have the daily graphic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have first digs. 2 funds to aid justice delivery. President, government contribute 2.2 million Ghana cedis. So let's see what happens to our justice system and how it grows soon. Okay.
Yeah.
Attempt to discredit me will fail, says Colonel Damwa to OSP. And that's a running story, a raging one at that. You can find that on page 16 of the Daily Graphic. We must live within our means. Participants in graphic business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting reiterate. That's on page 16. I think it's a very laudable statement.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, anybody who doesn't live within their means is a wrecking train.
Especially when you're a country.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a whole country.
Yeah. Anyway, the Ghanaian Times is here, and it says here on the front page, 1,251 vehicle owners land in trouble as DVLA sanctions them for various defects. Government receives the last batch of $96 million agric machinery to boost production. We also have President launches funds for legal aid and law reforms. And the final headline here, current economic challenges blame inconsistencies, lack of proper implementation of government policies. This is coming from Dr. Eyim Dake.
Okay, we have the Chronicle. Atefo exposes NDC's crocodile tears over Ghana card for election 2024. I wonder what that's about. So there's a picture of Professor Kanatefo there, the boss of the National Identification Authority, and that story is on pages 2 and 3 of the Chronicle. Our Greek ministry acquires more machinery to boost farming. And there's a picture there of some machinery that was imported from Brazil. You also see Dr. Usefri Akuto, the Minister for Food and Agriculture there on the Chronicle. La Bianca owner to face impeachment. This La Bianca saga, it even sounds like the name of a telenovela.
I know, right? It does, right? It does.
Legal aid fund, 2.2 million Ghana cedis windfall. And that's, still the justice system and what's being pumped into it. So, and then today's, Bible quotation, the Chronicle, John 3:20. For everyone who does wicked things hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his works should be exposed.
Okay.
These ekutia.
Hey, scriptures, ekutia scriptures. Now, the La Bianca boss, she's Council of State.
That's right.
Member, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I find it very interesting about how the Ghana discourse is going. We complain on one hand about difficulties in our poultry sector and over-reliance on importation and its impact on the dollar.
Right.
It's one discourse we're having. At the same time, someone is in the Council of State who advises the president on how to run the country.
Yeah.
The person is importing millions of dollars worth of chicken, dressed chicken into the country. Frozen chicken into the country. And I think we're just a bunch of confused people running around the country, pretending to run a country.
So you
honestly.
See, before we move on to our next, let me just say quickly that we have a problem. And our problem is that in everything we do, we want, the microwave version of it. Abindada. Very quick. If you want to experience certain things that will give you comfort and the kind of convenience that we keep saying we want, the developed world has and all that, then we need to be able to suffer in the now to get it. It's your basic principle of life. If you don't suffer, you don't work, you don't go through certain hardships and discomfort, you can't have the catalysis that you need to be able to move forward. That's what it is. So for as long as we are thinking about how much will be in our pockets now as individuals, how much we can gain now while we are in power, how much we can gain now while we are in some space before we get out, then this is what we are going to face. And let me just remind everybody that our leaders, the people who sit in positions like this, they come from amongst us. They go to our schools, or they went to our schools, go to our churches, worship in our mosques, live in our neighborhoods, buy from the same markets, the same shops that we do. So they are from amongst us. They are just a reflection of us as a people. And that is something for us to think about.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Anyway, yeah.
So I've got the crusading guide here, the new crusading guide. Opong Chicheku is clean. He's not been found guilty of fraud by any court in the Edem Afram case. Okay, nice to hear. Government commits 2 million Ghana cedis, again, to law reform and legal aid commission's funds. Customs Commissioner jabs Special Prosecutor over La Bianca reports. Colonel retired Kwadwo Damoa, Commissioner of the Customs Division of GRA. And again, that's on pages 3 and 10 of the new crusading guide. Stand up for journalism. Opong Nkrumah charges GJA president. And that's on page 7 of the new crusading guide. And powerful words coming from the Minister of Information, who himself comes from the House of Journalism. Right? And then last one here, major boost for Agric as Minister commissions farming equipment for planting for food and jobs. And I just hope that we're actually going to use the equipment to plant for food and jobs. I'm just saying.
Well, the Business Finder this morning has 30 million farm machinery, $30 million farm machinery arrives. Farmers to pay only 60% of cost. This is coming from Dr. Akoto. Provide blood insurance to save lives, Dr. Ofori speaking. And Access Bank champions SMEs digitalization. All right, so these stories on the front page of the Business Finder.
And then we have the daily guide. Government offers 2 million Ghana cedi support to legal aid law reform. So that's story again on page 3. Fitch confirms $3 billion IMF lifeline for Ghana. So we got some money in the bank. And that's on page 3 of the, I hope so. Page 3 of the daily guide. And then our Greek minister once again commissions new farming equipment on page 6. Then we have be worthy envoys in Qatar, says former President Mahama, and there's a picture of him shaking the hand of Kempong. Right? And you can read that story on page 16. And I think it's a great charge. Former president telling people, when you go to Qatar, you're representing Ghana. Please.
Yeah. And my final newspaper here is the Supreme newspaper. It says, government addressing depreciation of the city. Yesterday, that in 5 hours, there was a depreciation fall from 9.1 to 9.35 in 5 hours. Same day depreciation.
Crazy.
Okay, so they say they're addressing it. Okay, we are watching.
Crazy.
NLA funds smart lab for inmates of the Senior Correctional Center. And another, let me just give me one more headline. Draw initiatives to provide support to women's concerns. NALAG president to MMDAs and institutions. These and other headlines on the front page of the Supreme newspaper.